Before we get started sharing today's books, I want to give a couple special thank yous. I want to thank Comic Gories. John's Comics with Kids and JP's Budget Collecting last night hosted Comic Gories, and in the final round, the championship round, they picked all Wonder Woman themed categories in honor of my upcoming birthday next week. So I want to thank those guys so much for thinking about me and paying tribute to me, and for the contestants in the chat who put up with the categories. And I love seeing what everyone came up with too, even the ones that weren't necessarily Wonder Woman books, how they played into those topics. If you missed the video, I put a link to it in the description for this video. Also last week, I mentioned a prize win from Super Russ 9000. Well, he has an ongoing contest right now where you can win $50. Imagine putting that towards a book that you really want to have in your collection. Well, I put a link to that video in the description for this video as well, but one of the criteria for entering the contest, which I didn't know that he was doing, was making me one of the channels that you have to subscribe to. So if you're a new subscriber who came from that contest entry, welcome. Great to have you here. I hope that you enjoy the content and the videos that I'm producing. But thank you so much, Super Russ, for thinking of me and including me in that and wanting to show some support to me and my channel. That absolutely means the world. I just love this community so much, and you guys have made me feel like $1,000,000. So with that having been said, let's proceed on and share some comic books in today's Comic Book Editions video, Volume 50. What are we doing? Showing comics. Who wants to see them? You do. Welcome to another Comic Book Editions video as we go old school style today. In this video, you're going to get an update on how my top 12 of 2021 goal list is progressing, and you're going to see some foreign editions as well. Let's get started. I know you're here to see some books. The first one that I have to show you is Dark Knight's Death Metal, issue number 3. Of course, I bought it because of that Wonder Woman cover. This is the Lucio Perillo variant. Why did I buy it? Well, as my good friend Copy 801 would say, why not? But I am happy to have this in the collection. Another book that I've been eyeing for quite some time that is nothing but a 100% complete cover by is Black Widow, Volume 8, issue number 1. This is an Unknown Comics exclusive Jay Anceletto cover. I am a sucker for Ms. Marvel in that black lightning bolt costume. Anything with Ms. Marvel, especially in that costume, is going to do it for me. Now, there is another variant, too, that features Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. And that one's okay. If I don't get it, it's no problem. If I do get it, hey, it's nice and it completes the set, you know, kind of have Carol Danvers in both versions. Carol doesn't appear in this story, so like I said, complete 100% cover buy, and I'm happy to finally have this to add into the collection. While I was shopping, and speaking of cover buys, how could I pass up this? Look at that Virgin variant. The comic book is actually Deadpool, issue number 13 from volume number 6. And Vision and Scarlet Witch make absolutely no appearance or reference in the issue at all. This is just a 100% cover buy. Of course, I loved WandaVision. If you didn't get a chance to check out my reactions to WandaVision, those are archived in a playlist here on my channel. I also did a video talking about my top 5 favorite things that happened in the WandaVision series too, so check that out if you haven't had a chance already. What is also interesting, I thought, I only have 2 Deadpool comic books, with this being one of them, but I also have Deadpool Volume 5, issue number 13. So the 2 Deadpool comic books I have are Volume 5, issue 13, and Volume 6, issue 13. That's kind of weird how that turned out, but that's the way it was. And since we were talking about WandaVision, I wanted this before I knew that she was going to become part of WandaVision. This is the Amazing Spider-Man Annual, number 16, the first appearance of Monica Rambeau and her introduction as Captain Marvel. Of course, this was a book that was on my top 12 goal list for 2021, so I have my first one checkmarked off of my list. For some crazy reason, I actually thought that I had this book. I have so many other appearances of Monica Rambeau, but for whatever reason, I didn't have this one. I thought I had it. And then when I started looking at my CLZ and it wasn't checkmarked, and then I actually went through my physical collection and went, wow, I really don't have this. You know what I think the deal was at the time? I just don't think I'm into the cover. I'm really not that crazy about the cover, and her back is to us, the reader, and it's not that fantastic. The story was really good, though, and the art was really good. I have so many of the other Monica Rambeau early appearances. I don't know how I didn't have this, but I've rectified the problem, and it's in the collection now, and I couldn't be happier. So we can say officially now, 1 of the 12 is checkmarked. Since we're talking about Spider-Man, another book of his that I've wanted, but the prices were always so high, was Spidey Super Stories number 39. Well, this came up on eBay with a make an offer. So I made an offer, which I thought was pretty low considering how nice of condition this is in, and the seller accepted it. I was ecstatic. I haven't seen one in this nice of condition sell for as good of a price as I got it for. This is the infamous Thanos story where he rides the Thanos copter. I've seen this story described as the most ridiculous story about Thanos that Marvel Comics has ever published. Of course, it's not part of canon or part of continuity or anything. Something else interesting, since Spidey Super Stories were always geared towards younger readers, they refer to, that's Hellcat from the Defenders there with him. But in the story, she's just referred to as Cat, which makes it interesting because, Hellcat wears the cat's original costume, but the cat herself was in Spidey Super Stories. So they just don't make any acknowledgement of that. I wonder how many readers had the original book and said, well, the cat has dark hair and here she has red hair. What's going on? But we also get a very nice wraparound cover, as a lot of Spidey Super Stories do. And there we have even some Carol Danvers in her original Ms. Marvel costume, but Spidey and the cat / Hellcat and Ms. Marvel leading a parade. Love that. And that is in one of my Comic Clear backing boards. These things are my favorite comic book accessory that I have. You wouldn't even think that there's a backing board in there, but there is. And they're acid-free, and I just love these things. I can't brag about Comic Clear enough. I've talked about them in one of my WandaVision videos, but you can check them out for yourself at comicclearsupplies.com. But speaking of Comic Clear supplies, I received an A-OK from them. And it was Silver Surfer Black. This was not in exchange for advertising or anything. It was just kind of a bonus book that got thrown in with an order that was made. I received some Comic Clear Comic Clear boards as a Christmas gift. And they threw this in as a bonus as well. Look at that cool Silver Surfer cover with Galactus just about to snatch him. I love that. There are so many awesome covers for Silver Surfer Black issue number 1. This one is the Comics Elite variant that was done by Ryan Brown, and I'm a huge fan of Ryan Brown's work. So I'm very happy to have this in my collection. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, issue number 3. This book isn't that easy to find. And I never thought I would be adding a Godzilla book into my collection, but here it is. Of course, I really want it because I'm a fan of the Champions. And here you have the Champions taking on the King of Monsters himself, Godzilla. What I also like about this is you notice down here that there is no UPC code. So either that means this was a Whitman variant or an early direct edition. I did check with Metarog, and he did say that these no box variants either are early direct edition or Whitman's. So very well could be Whitman too. It does have the diamond up there, which leads me to think that it could be. So I know Comics for Thomas and I were having a discussion about this, what it could be when I first got this book. But regardless of what it is, it's in really nice shape. And I tell you, I've looked on eBay, and you don't see this book come up all that often. It's not that expensive. But I have it, I have all of the issues of the Champions now. I'm just checking and chugging away a little bit at the guest appearances that they made in other titles. So really happy to have this in the collection. This issue, San Francisco Quakes. Cool. Here's a variant edition for you. Wow, was I so happy to get this. So I'm going to put up an image for you of Wonder Woman, Volume 1, issue number 245. That comic book is the first Wonder Woman comic book I ever had and added into my collection. The love affair with Wonder Woman had already started from seeing her on TV, not only the Linda Carter TV show, but the Super Friends cartoon, and seeing her in comic books like the Super Friends comic book or the Justice League comic book. And the love affair started when I found out she had her own title. Well, what you're looking at on the left is Flash and Wonder Woman. This is an Italian variant of issue number 245. And what I love is it has a complete different cover than what the US version had. I love that. I love it when those foreign editions have different covers than the US one. That cover that they used is actually, as I said, the Italian edition. It's actually the splash page from the first page, and they turned that into the cover. And this book is quite interesting. It's got a couple Wonder Woman reprints and does not have any Flash stories in it. So I'm not exactly sure why it's called Flash and Wonder Woman. I think there's one page advertising Flash comic books, but he's not in this book at all. But vintage, so happy to have this. Man, it took a while to get here too from Italy, but it doesn't matter. It arrived. I have it. I know it's not super high grade, but these are so hard to find that it doesn't matter. I'm just so stoked. And since I'm showing you foreign edition comic books of Wonder Woman, let me show you another one. Okay, before we talk about this book, I'm going to throw up the image for you of Wonder Woman Volume 1, issue number 247 to look at, so you can look at the two side by side. The main reason that I wanted this is the coloring error. Notice that her belt is not colored in on this, which is the French edition. They colored it as skin, and that just makes the costume look so interesting to me when they kind of made the costume into a two-piece. Wow. And this cover is kind of done like in cardstock too. I'm surprised it's in such nice condition considering how old it is too. So happy to have that. Like I said, besides comic books foreign editions that have different covers than the US, I also love it when something is miscolored or different colored than our version. And here it's something main, it's part of her costume. I don't think I've seen other parts of her costume miscolored in other French Wonder Woman books from this era. So this definitely was a treat to be able to add. And you probably look at the size and you see, compared to the French edition, which is on the left, is regular comic book size. This one on the right is bigger than Digest, but not quite big enough for regular comic book size. So I mentioned copy 801 earlier in the video. I sent him an AOK, which included a Supergirl foreign edition comic book. And since I was ordering all the way from Sweden, I thought, well, I got to find a comic book for me too. I didn't find any Wonder Woman, but I did find another comic book that totally had a different cover than what the US version had. And that is this Teen Titans comic book. This is the Swedish edition of Teen Titans Volume 1, issue number 45. Here on the right-hand side, I'll pull up what the US cover looked like so you can compare the two and see that they are dramatically different from one another. I love it. Of course, I'm a sucker too. As much as I mentioned earlier, I love that Ms. Marvel, Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel in the Black Lightning Bolt costume. I'm also a sucker for Donna Troy in that red jumpsuit. I can't get enough of that either. But I love it. Copy really enjoyed his AOK that I sent, and I enjoyed the book. I probably wouldn't have bought this had I not been buying the book that I wanted to send to Copy. And since I was saving on shipping, as Copy says, and I already quoted once, why not? So I put one in for me on my order. Now, if they only had a Swedish Wonder Woman, I'll have to keep my eye open for that. So, speaking of books from other countries, you might remember during my very first live stream with Comics for Thomas when I unboxed a great AOK that he sent me, there were some books that I opened up, didn't show the camera, and put aside. These were books that I purchased through Thomas from a comic book shop in Canada during a special 50% off sale they were having. Had them shipped to Thomas, and then Thomas just included them with the books that he was sending me anyway. So I want to take this opportunity to show those to you right now. The first one is one that I've wanted for quite some time. This is the Best of DC issue number 21, the little digest size story that spotlights in this issue 100 pages of all-star action of the Justice Society of America. I love that cover. I've always wanted this book. For whatever reason, I never had this book until now. That's fantastic. And you can just ignore the prices you see on these. Not only was the price 50% of that, that's Canadian. So by the time you take 50% off Canadian and then put the currency exchange in, it's even more than 50%. So this was too good of a sale to pass up on. This next book is one that I had and just needed to upgrade my copy of. This is Best of DC 22. It's Christmas with the Superheroes, an upgraded copy. This book you don't see all that often either, and when you do, it usually sells pretty high. So I was happy to get it, let alone at a sale price too. I love that. My original copy is pretty well worn, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm happy now to have a really nicer grade upgrade. And sticking with the digest theme, another one that was an upgrade for me is the Best of DC issue number 31. This is the JLA initiation issue, and it's the Canadian price variant. This was $1.50 when it was new in Canada. I remember reading through this book quite a lot too, which is why it's very well loved and very well worn, my original. So, as I said, to get the chance to upgrade to a nicer copy was too good of a deal to pass up. Oh, I see it's got a date stamp on there too. I don't think I noticed that until just right now. Little smudge date stamp, but hey, still cool nonetheless. And I picked up one more book, another digest, during this sale in Canada. That was an upgrade for me. This is DC Special Blue Ribbon Digest, issue number 15. It's the Secret Origins of Supervillains issue. Man, some of the titles to these digests are pretty hard to figure out what they are. But I did get it figured out with some help thanks to CLZ. I love that app so much. I'm so happy to have this to be able to add into the collection as an upgraded copy. There's a couple more digests that I need to get some upgraded copies of, and maybe one or two overall that I just need to buy that I'm missing that I'm really interested in. But I've really checked off some digest stuff in the last 6 months or so that I've wanted. So I have one more book that I want to show you, and this one is also part of my 2021 goals list. I was able to pick up Marvel graphic novel issue number 12, Dazzler, the movie. I'm so stoked to have this. Last year I completed my Dazzler run, getting all of the issues, and I was missing this. Now there was some debate over which is the first print. There's another version that has kind of this image, but it's a little bit smaller, and there's a lot of like a black border with some of the credits of the writers and stuff down below. It looks kind of more like a movie poster. And I've always heard that version is the first print. And then I saw this on eBay, and it said it was the first print. And I'm like, well, which is which? So you know what you do when you don't know something about comic books? You go back to Metarog. I mean, God bless Metarog and his kindness and always being there for the community. And Metarog, through his deduction, said, well, this book has the cheaper price tag than the other book. So more than likely, this is the first print, which is fine because I wanted the first print. You don't see this one on the auctions as much as you see the second print. So I believe that this is the first print after all. It was a fantastic story. It's in really nice shape too. This is a pedigree. This is from the Gibson family of the Generations Collection Pedigree. The pedigree didn't mean anything to me. I just wanted to get this book, got it in really nice condition, and I'm quite happy. That means 2 of my top 12 goals for 2021 have been accomplished. Got more books on the way too, so I'm excited to share those with you in future Comic Book Editions videos. What did you think of my haul so far? Leave me a comment below. Tell me what you thought. Let me know if you're looking for any of these books or if you have any of these books in your collection. Love to dialogue about this and anything else with you in the comment section below. You can share this video. You can give it a like. None of those hurt my feelings. You know I love that. And please subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I love getting new subscribers. It's a great way to show support to the channel. I always follow you back as well, and I can shout you out in a future video too. So if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, please make this the time that you decide to do so, and clicking the notification bell will inform you when new content is added to this channel immediately. Thanks again for watching and spending time on my channel, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.